You're gonna need to buckle up for this one, you guys, because we're talking about Gabby Hanna, and this is a lot we're about to get into. So for the past week and a half, people have been really worried about Gabby. After posting over 100 TikTok videos in one day alone last week, the internet filled with worry that something was wrong. Some people were skeptical, but the majority were really concerned because the content that she was posting wasn't like anything she had posted in the past. It wasn't like anything else. She had never posted this much in one day, and she had never acted like this in videos before. A lot of it was religion-based, and there was a lot of screaming in these videos and really loud music being blasted. And she was posting video after video after video, rant after rant after rant.
Root for us. I'm fighting for we. You wanna laugh? Catholic. I was raised Catholic. Cat-holic. Jesus had a whole lot of followers. You left him, Judas.
We go to sleep. Wake the up. There's babies on the street.
Man, kind. Whoa, man.
She had viewers so worried that LAPD was called several times to come to her home to do a wellness check, and she says on several occasions this occurred. These wellness checks she later described as honestly sounding very traumatic and scary, the way that she described them coming into her home, handcuffing her, and the way she described they spoke to her seemed very aggressive and unnecessary.
So right before the cops busted in my back door, all on camera and documented, obviously. They came in and they did a quick little search, and then I came down the stairs. They wouldn't tell me why I was being detained. They cuffed me, and then they demanded that I drink water. So I had to drink water behind my back, and I took a sip, and they said, no, drink more water. I'm in my own home with my hands cuffed behind my back with 5 bullies with guns, illegally searching and detaining me with no answers at all. They wouldn't let me do anything else.
She did make TikToks thanking them for checking up on her despite the way they acted towards her.
God bless you, officers, and thank you for your service.
But it took a couple days for her to address viewers on TikTok and tell them that she is okay, she doesn't want to harm herself or anyone else, and she said this in an effort to get the police from coming back to her home for another wellness check. She really wanted to assure people, I'm good, no need to get LAPD involved again.
They come at 4 a.m. and I keep telling them I'm fine. They say, are you okay? My life is a constant state of vacation. I'm enlightened. Just a friendly reminder, I have yet to threaten harm on myself. I have yet to threaten harm on anybody else. No, really.
And ever since that, it seemed like she wasn't really posting as often as she was that one night where she was posting literally hundreds of videos. And since then, she hasn't been posting content that is her screaming. She hasn't been going on religious rants. She hasn't been blasting music. Instead, she's just been addressing questions people had and talked about the whole situation that happened last week. Now, in my last video, I talked about how Gabby called these videos a form of her art.
You guys have not shut the up about me. I'm doing something productive and creative. Are you? Or are you just talking about my art?
Which to a lot of people who had been concerned for her over the prior days were left a little confused as to what had happened. People were wondering, so were you okay? And that was just an art form to you or what? Because you guys, this was a very serious situation to people.
Black women especially embody the Holy Spirit because Black mothers are always left to raise their babies alone when the father leaves.
And she has now deleted almost all the TikToks from last week where she was acting a certain way in those videos. And she has gone on to address even more about what happened that week. And it seems like she's kind of upset in a way that people were so concerned for her and talking about her. She posted a TikTok that really confused me, you guys, I will say, and it confused a lot of people in the comment section. She seemed pretty upset that the police had come to her home, but then she goes on to to describe her career and her life online. And she says that years ago, and she brings up the rice gum situation where he took her phone, smashed it, and she accused him of having hurt her. And she says in this TikTok that after that situation, people were mostly on his side. She was not taken seriously. She was bullied. She was victim shamed, and her reputation became this crazy woman. And she says that this whole thing with her posting these passionate videos and being crazy was to get people's attention to focus on homelessness, because the only time people pay attention to her is when she's being this crazy woman that people have portrayed her as all these years.
The reality of my existence in my career, and I've long since just kind of accepted it, which is why I just do whatever I want, and it's fine as long as people aren't like busting in my house and threatening me. Years ago, I was assaulted at a party, and instead of that person being held accountable, I filed a police report. Nothing was done. The entire internet, almost pretty much everyone except for a couple people, were on his side. I was victim shamed and bullied, and I had human beings coming up to me, coming to my book tours, coming up to me while I'm shopping, harassing me, following me. And ever since then, it's just been one thing after another, and the tabloids of the internet have done everything in their power to just make me a crazy hysterical woman. So now nobody pays attention to me unless I'm a crazy hysterical woman. So I'm a crazy hysterical woman, fine. I'm gonna channel that into something that actually matters, which is children, homeless people, racism, the fact that there's people without clean water. And yeah, I'm crazy for caring.
And she says that instead of people listening to her words, she kind of compares herself to Britney Spears and says that people weren't listening to her, and that instead people abused the 911 system and LAPD was called, and none of that should have even been allowed to happen because she is totally okay.
And just like Britney, they put me in cuffs and tried to haul me off to a mental hospital. Thankfully for me, I'm actually sane, but none of this should have been allowed to happen. None of this should have been allowed to happen, and none of it should have happened. The police should not have been pounding at my door so many times. People shouldn't have been abusing the 911 system. People should look for context before attacking a woman and calling her insane.
All I have to say is that, Gabby, then why didn't you just say something? I'm so lost here, you guys. I was genuinely concerned last week as to what was going on. And now she's saying that she's mad people didn't take her seriously in the rice gum situation. But now it sounds like the wording of it, I don't know if she means it this way, but it sounds like she's upset that people are actually worried about her last week. I'm a little speechless here, you guys. Like... She could have said, hey guys, I'm all good. It took her days to say she didn't want to hurt herself or anyone else. And by then the cops had already come and they'd been to her house multiple times. If she didn't want people to be concerned for her, she could have made a video just like this in a serious tone and said, hey guys, I'm good. Because she had the time to post 100 videos in one day. And if she didn't want people to be really concerned and call LAPD, then she could have just said, hey guys, like, I'm good. Don't think this is a serious situation. Because everybody in the comments was like, LAPD needs to be called. Somebody call 911. Somebody call, like, everyone was worried. And she could clearly see the comments. So if she didn't want them to call 911, then she could have even commented and said, no guys, don't do that. Because truly, I don't think anyone knew the reason for those videos was to raise awareness for homelessness. There was a video of her talking about, you know, children on the streets and things like that, but she was going on many rants that at that point, that was just another rant to people. That was not the rant. That was not the situation she was trying to drive awareness to. People thought that her posting all these videos was her driving awareness to her not being okay and her needing assistance, like a cry for help type of situation. But she's saying, no, you guys missed all the context clues of me trying to raise awareness for homelessness. She addressed this all once again in another video where she was addressing the TikTok of her in the bathroom mirror screaming, help me.
Help me! Help me! Wake the up! Help me! Help us!
She explained how she was once again trying to raise awareness for homeless children, and she was just really passionate about getting people to help her to help others, and people should have listened to her words.
This is the video that prompted so much concern and caused me to literally go through and being held hostage in my home, literally. And it's in response to a comment, and if you click the comment, it's on a video of a spoken word poem that I'm doing about not being able to sleep because there's starving children on the street. And someone said, "Oh my God, somebody help her." And I said, "Yes, help me, help me, help me, help us." Meaning, help me save the starving, dying children of the world. But all anybody wants to see is a woman screaming, "Help me." No context, no research, like literally just click the comment. It's so exhausting.
The thing about this video, just like I said, at the point that this video was hitting a lot of people's For You pages, she had hundreds of other videos, hundreds of other rants going on that I don't think people thought this video right here, this video out of all the hundreds of videos that she posted, this is the one that we should be listening to. This is the one that tells us exactly what she's talking about. This is the video with the message. Because all of the videos were a rant. All the videos were seemingly a different rant. She was talking about religion. She was talking about a lot of different things.
The simulation theory is what happens when man can't just admit there is a God. But we are not the creators of our own universe. We are the gods of our own world. I'm gonna pose this question as a humble servant with all the humility and gratitude to know that only God could ever make this choice.
So I don't think people specifically knew this one right here was the only one we should be paying attention to, or this is the topic we should be focusing on. It's just very confusing for people. And I hope it comes across how confusing this whole thing could be. And I don't necessarily think it was a bad thing that people were worried about her, because dang, people really cared. People really wanted her to just be okay. They were putting their feelings aside to really care and try to get her some help. But now it seems like she's mad. She did not appreciate that. She tried to say that she did tell people that she was okay and posted a TikTok of a compilation of some of her TikToks from the past week where she had said to people that she's okay, she's talked to friends. And it said, "A family member just asked me if I wasn't having a psychotic break. Why didn't I tell my followers I was fine? How many times, in how many ways, can I calmly say I'm fine before I'm not?" And these were the clips that she shared that is supposedly the proof of her telling everybody that she is okay.
Fine, by the way. I've had a lot of people, thank God, friends reach out to me and say, "I'm going to follow through on my promise to the officer and post this video and tell you guys again that I'm okay."
Now, I will say every single one of these clips was taken after the one night where she freaked everyone out by posting 100+ videos on her TikTok. And then the next day, she invited a stranger into her home and she said that her home was broken into and then went radio silent for a whole day, scaring more people. That day in specific was the day where LAPD was called the most and when LAPD came to her home. After all of that was when she started posting about being okay because the police had already been called, and she was saying she was okay to avoid having more cops come to her house because she didn't like the way that they treated her. She didn't like the experience of LAPD coming to her home, trying to do the wellness check. So that's when she was telling people, "I'm okay. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm not trying to hurt other people." The whole thing, this whole thing is honestly a lot to process. I think a lot of people were coming from a good place, just wanting to make sure she was okay. And I will say that she had those TikToks up literally on her page up until 2 days ago. So up until then, I was still seeing her TikToks from last week on my For You page. And some people aren't always looking at the date, so I'm sure that some people could have seen that on their For You page and thought that was today or something, and they could still have been worried about Gabby thinking that was a recent video. So I don't think it's a crime to have cared or wanted help to come when the TikTok For You page is just so random, and she had so many videos that it was bound to get on people's For You pages at different times and them to react a little later and ask if she's okay because they probably thought it was a new video. Some people aren't watching every single video in order. They're just seeing one random one and like, oh my gosh, is she okay? And not knowing she already gave an update because they don't want to scroll through 500 videos to find out. Most of them are deleted now, and I'm pretty sure it's because she wants to avoid more people thinking she's not okay, more calls to LAPD. And once again, I will say that I think it is most frustrating for people who are genuinely worried because on one hand, she's saying she's upset people didn't take her seriously when she wasn't okay about the rice gum situation, but when people are worried, she's upset they tried to take action and get her help by calling LAPD. I agree that the constant LAPD visits seemed horrible and they definitely didn't sound like they were doing things properly. They didn't know what to do. There was also a whole NBC article put out about the dangers of calling LAPD on somebody who you feel is going through something mentally. Police just really don't know how to handle that situation. It seemed very clear from the things that Gabby was saying about how they interacted with her, the things that they said to her, the way they treated her. It was all just very disgusting, like the treatment, everything horrible, horrible, horrible. I do think that people were coming from a good place when trying to call for her, given that her family is really far away, and her family did come out in statements saying that they were trying to get in contact with her, but I don't know what she wanted people to do because she was just giving them more content to be worried about, and she didn't really say anything until LAPD had already come to her home that she was okay.
So they just keep reminding me, we're here for your safety. I just have to ask you again and again and again. They kept asking me, do you want to hurt yourself? Do you want to hurt anybody else? And I said, no. And they said, well, why do we keep getting calls? And I said, I tell you guys every time you come, it's just trolls, but like they have no internal communication. And that's the problem, is like, I believe that a lot of the cops that show up have good intentions. They're just doing their job, but they don't communicate with each other. So now I'm the target of the police getting angry that calls are coming in about it. I just got another call yesterday when I was leaving the gym for another wellness check. And I'm like, can you guys, I told the lady on the phone, I was just detained for 2 hours in my home, and then 2 more detectives showed up and 2 more police showed up and then another cop showed up. Like, do you guys have any internal communication, or am I just gonna be harassed for the rest of my life on these wellness checks? Because I'll tell you what, the cops for the past month are what triggered me into my very first manic episode.
I mean, this whole thing just hurts my head a lot, you guys, because what in the world did we just experience? Truly, this is honestly a sad situation. It's really sad because Gabby has such a reputation and people really did worry and people were taking it so freaking serious, so serious. And to feel as though she's like upset about it now, I don't know, you guys. But that's what's going on with Gabby. I'm happy she's okay. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys are okay. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.